Menstrual cramps or period pain can feel even worse than having a heart attack. This is how reproductive health experts describe what women experience. Other doctors further addressed this comparison, stating that heart attacks are usually accompanied by mild pain. Some gynecologists believe that menstrual cramps are more comparable to labor pain. Data shows that 80% of women experience menstrual cramps at some point in their lives. So, what are menstrual cramps, and why are they so painful? During a woman's fertile years, the uterine lining thickens to help prepare for a possible embryonic implantation and a successful pregnancy. But when an egg is not fertilized, the uterus contracts to help expel and shed the thickened uterine lining, which in turn breaks down and bleeds. This is known as the menstrual cycle, or what is commonly referred to as a period. Chemicals called prostaglandins help the uterus contract and relax so that the lining can detach and shed. Prostaglandins are necessary for uterine contraction, and higher levels of prostaglandins trigger the uterine muscles to contract even more strongly. As a result, the blood supply to the uterus is momentarily shut down, depriving the uterine muscles of oxygen and causing severe pain. This leads to what is known as menstrual cramps, or period pains. These period pains are medically referred to as dysmenorrhea and are classified into two different types: primary and secondary dysmenorrhea. Primary dysmenorrhea is the most common type of period pain where there is no underlying condition that affects the uterus. Symptoms of primary dysmenorrhea include pain in the lower abdomen and back before and during the menstruation period. Other symptoms include nausea, vomiting, sweating, dizziness, headaches, and diarrhea. There has been little research into how to treat it, and the signs that could point to a more serious condition are often missed. On the other hand, secondary dysmenorrhea is caused by an underlying condition like fibroids, pelvic inflammatory disease, or endometriosis. Endometriosis, for example, is a condition in which the uterine lining, also called endometrium, grows outside the uterus. This misplaced tissue will grow, thicken, and break down just as the normal uterine lining does during the menstrual cycle. This condition may cause extremely painful periods during bowel movements and could even lead to problems with fertility. Studies found that about 75% of menstruating women suffer from some symptoms of PMS. Short for premenstrual syndrome, PMS can appear around the ovulation date, roughly 2 weeks before the start of the menstrual period, and can last a few days after the period begins. It's not fully understood why women experience PMS, but it may be because of their fluctuating hormone levels. PMS can include serious mood changes, anxiety, tiredness, back pain, and severe headaches. During PMS, many women find it hard to control their emotions. They may experience crying spells, irritability, and even angry outbursts. PMS is likely caused by fluctuations in hormone levels. During the time of ovulation, a woman's body releases an egg, leading to a drop in estrogen and progesterone levels. These hormones are known to influence serotonin, a neurotransmitter that helps regulate the mood, sleep cycle, and appetite. Low levels of serotonin are linked to feelings of sadness and irritability, and may also affect sleep patterns and cause unusual food cravings. When PMS is accompanied by a stressful situation, the emotional effect can be even more intense. PMS is most common among women in their late 20s to early 30s. To help manage PMS-related symptoms, avoid drinks rich in caffeine and alcohol, and keep track of your symptoms through the different stages of your cycle. Knowing there's a reason for why you're feeling extra moody can help you manage your symptoms. Exercise releases endorphins, which are the body's feel-good hormones, so working out during your PMS can help put you in a good mood. Pain during childbirth is one of the most severe pains. During childbirth, the uterus contracts forcefully to push the baby out. These contractions are known as labor pain. Contractions can also cause pain in the abdomen, back, and groin. Pain during childbirth is different for every woman. For some women, it is similar to having menstrual cramps, while for others, labor and delivery can be incredibly painful. Even for women who have had multiple births, the experience of giving birth can be completely different every time. Several factors affect labor pain and childbirth. These include the type of pregnancy, the position of the baby, and previous experiences. The intensity of childbirth pain also depends on the pain threshold of each woman. It is the minimum point at which a person senses a stimulus as pain. Labor pain is more painful for mothers who have a low pain threshold. On average, labor pain lasts around 12 to 24 hours. In a survey, 50% of mothers said said contractions were the most painful part of delivery. For about 1 in 5 women, pushing or post-delivery was most painful. Mothers between the age of 18 to 39 said post-delivery pain was more painful. Having an abnormal pregnancy can increase labor pain. Pain from cesarean, C-section delivery is very different from the pain of vaginal birth. C-section is a major surgical procedure through which a baby is delivered via incisions in the abdomen and uterus. The recovery time for C-section is much longer than in natural birth. The number of babies being born by C-section is increasing, which could be interfering with natural human evolution. C-section is leading towards the birth of bigger babies and smaller birth canals in women. In the future, women may not be able to give birth without having a C-section. C-section has increased the gap between the size of newborns and their mothers' pelvises. More females are born with a smaller pelvis, whereas the baby head size is getting bigger. In the past, larger babies and mothers with narrow pelvis sizes had small survival rates. As a result, genes for these traits were not passed down through the generations. C-sections are helping bigger babies and women with smaller pelvis to survive the labor. As a result, genes for smaller birth canals in women are now becoming more common, which in turn is increasing the need for even more C-sections. Managing childbirth pain involves a combination of physical, psychological, and medical strategies tailored to each woman's needs and preferences. Physical techniques include practicing various breathing exercises and relaxation techniques that can help manage contractions. Deep, focused breathing promotes relaxation and can reduce the perception of pain. Positions and movements such as walking, rocking, squatting, or using a birthing ball can also alleviate discomfort by enhancing the progression of labor and reducing the pressure on the back. Warm showers or baths are known to soothe and provide significant relief during labor. Psychological strategies play a crucial role in managing childbirth pain. The presence of a supportive partner, doula, or a familiar person can offer emotional reassurance and practical assistance, making the labor experience more comfortable. Visualization and mindfulness can also distract from pain and reduce anxiety, focusing the mind on positive outcomes rather than discomfort. Medical interventions include various forms of pain relief, ranging from non-invasive to invasive options. Certain medications can be used for mild pain relief, allowing the woman to remain mobile and alert.